All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some UAA Esports. We've been gone for a minute. There was a little bit of a bye week, but it's now time for the third rematch against NMSU White, and it's going to be the third place match for our Valorant team. After unfortunately falling up against KSU 2 weeks ago, they are still here to reclaim their throne on the podium. So let's see how things go. His first map's going to be Haven, chosen by NMSU. And this time around, Boats will not be joining us for this match, unfortunately, as he was unfortunately fallen sick under the weather. But we're going to have King Wizard fall in his place to fill in those shoes. So it's going to be a very interesting match to see how these two teams rematch each other. The other two times that these two teams met, NMSU actually took the first match, winning in the placement tournament of all things. And then next was, I believe, UAA winning in the first week. So they were very, sort of back-to-back games with each other. So now the series count, I guess, if you want to say, is 1-1. But then following that, it's been a very long season. It's been about 9 weeks now since we have last seen both of these teams play. So it's going to be a very long time. Unfortunately, the graphics isn't correct, but it's going to be a very long time until we have seen them play. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So let's see how everything kind of pans out here. Now getting straight into the game. Let's get things started. So looking at both teams so far. On the scoreboard, we got Lenozen. Wow, it's actually been a while since I said the name Lenozen. I kind of remember it from week 1. Keanu, Mikkel, Mads, and Architect. And then on UAA side, Rack, Phoenix, Sonata, King Wizard, and Mystic. Mystic taking on that jet role as he's usually seen doing so. So it's going to be super exciting to see how these teams play out. I want to say up front that the graphic is a little bit incorrect. So don't mind that at all. Actually, it's actually perfect. It might be incorrect. We'll see how the match plays out, but let's see two of these teams kind of roaming out. It's going to be UAA slowly drifting towards this B side of the map. So all of them starting on this attacking side. They have elected to be on the attacker side, so they are going to slowly make their way towards C. They do have a Cypher lying in waiting, but there is no cages. You know that he could be playing backside. They see him take the first pick. Huge kill for the side of UAA to start things off. And now trying to respect the background. They're going to have to get this spike down. Ultimately, a 5v3 still standing. 4v3 now. Trying to hold down site while the 3 remaining members of NMSU are going to have to fight their way towards site now. Still lying and waiting. Cypher's going to get cut down. 3v3, but a quick trade comes in as well. So that's Neon down. All up to Lenozen and Mads. Make that just Lenozen in the 2v1. Or 3v1 rather. It's going to be Mystic to still take the kills and claim the first round for UAA, starting things off strong. Already starting things off quick with a 3-piece. Mystic, as we have seen in many games prior, has been absolutely frying for the squad. And it looks like he's going to continue to do so. We've seen many games before when he's on this duelist role, is just absolutely obliterating teams. Games like when he was on the Rays on Split up against not KSU, but I believe a separate team in the quarterfinals match. I believe it was Kansas, just not Kansas State. So it is a little bit different. First pick does go down, and it's going to be the 2 first ones. Keanu and Architect do fall. Even the last 5 remaining, Rack is going to be lurking up towards B main, and he's just sitting on site. NMSU kind of have an inkling that this is happening, but it's going to be the Sova that gets caught off guard. Nice shot from Rack. As now he gets alerted that 2 members are flanking him. So now it's really all up to UAA to kind of hold their guns and make sure they don't lose anything on this bye round so that they can take into the bonus and make things well worthwhile. So that's going to be the Spectre down. Nice shots from Phoenix to at least get that one. Purno goes through, well aware of the Omen's presence. But it looks like they're going to allow him to gather that Spectre up. And if one kill here could be bad, but it doesn't matter for King Wizard making his debut. The last time he played was in week number 2. So it's been a very long time since we have seen Wizard, but now reclaiming himself back on the roster for the 3rd place match. It'll be super exciting to see. Still, once again, Mystic taking this early duel with the Guardian. Trying to see if he can take out this Sova. Recon Dart was utilized, so that's early info gone. It's kind of funny. I spoke to Rack before this game, and he was not wanting to play Sentinel at all. He says that he does not enjoy playing Sentinel when it comes to just his online ranked games, but maybe had a little bit of a change of heart when it comes to the competitive side of things. As he's gathering a lot of info and holding these flanks. Had a pretty strong lurk in the previous match, but now it's going to be UA ultimately lurking towards the middle of the map. Shark Dart goes through and on both sides, not going to land too much. As well as a couple bullet sprays as well, allowing for Mystic to try to get up into this garage position. He does hear the Neon. Has to be a little bit careful here. Vandal versus Guardians, definitely not the best scenario, and Rack here could find himself getting into a little bit of a scary gunfight, but he lands the shots needed. Huge kill from Rack to now reclaim that Vandal alongside, give it to his team, sees the Omen, and now the jig is up. Everyone on UAA and on NMSU know that this push is going towards this C site. Spike's going to go down. Cypher War gets tripped out, but a nice shot through the smoke. Going to be able to even out the numbers now, 3v3, but all of a sudden it's all up to King Wizard. Bodies were dropping left and right, and they just weren't able to clean up Keanu in the back end. And NMSU in a very scary round, ultimately were able to hold it down. Just not enough util for the side of UAA. Would have definitely loved if somebody was like on C long there to possibly kind of lurk up and just hold that long angle. But with just having a Sova going with the double controller comp with the Cloven Omen, which is something I didn't touch on in terms of their comps. We do have a double Senti comp ran from NMSU, as double Senti has definitely been rising up in popularity. But UAA look like they will take a different route. Rack looking to draw a couple of the members of NMSU away, but it doesn't look like much will budge. Still staying into their positions. It looks like the Recon Dart will go out from Sonata. Doesn't look like it lands anything, though. I don't know if that dart hit exactly where he wanted it to, so unfortunately we'll not be seeing that much. But now, fortunately, Rack will fall on the A lurk, but we were able to get a Cypher for Cypher trade, so definitely the Cypher on the defensive side is way more worth than the Cypher on the attacking side, as that will pretty much be the lurk down. UA definitely still have the advantage in terms of the weaponry, as two members do not have assault rifles, as they have, one has a Bucky, one has a Marshall. Shots rain through from the Marshall, not going to land on anybody so far, but Sonata knows that somebody's sitting, lying, and waiting in this garage position. Paranoia goes through, and it's a well-timed one, as the picks are going to be able to fall for NMSU, and it's all up to Sonata and King Wizard now to hold the line. Gets flanked from garage, and now it's a 1v2 for King Wizard, making his debut into the roster. Gets one, has to die fight against the Bucky, and he clutches up when needed. Huge time for King Wizard to enter the game and to enter the team, and a great clutch from him all around. we go now, leaning into round number 5, where looks like UAA, despite winning that round, are pretty weak in terms of the economy. But still, Mystic is going to find himself getting back on this Guardian, and that Sova Dart is not going to land anywhere near any of the UAA members. Footsteps from King Wizard do come through, though, to follow up with this Sova drone. Met by a Sage Wall, they should know now that the A short push will be a little bit rough. And as the smokes are looking to get planted here, this might be a fast A exec, but they're going to have to be a little bit quick because NMSU is definitely going to respond to this. Omen smoke comes through on this A short side. Sage is lying in waiting, but there's really nothing to track these corners. Corner trackers are not going to go through, but the Sova will fall. King Wizard trying to find an angle with this Vandal that he has in hand, but doesn't look like he's going to check his corner. He hears the Sage now, but not going to be able to be quick enough. And that makes it 3-2 NMSU. Doing a decent job so far at holding the defensive line. But now both teams have been really struggling when it comes to their full buy, but it's going to be the Blade Storm that comes through. Early fight on towards this Sova, and the Marshal's not going to be able to handle it. The quickness from Mystic and the precision from those blades is not enough. He almost lands a nice shot onto Hell. But the Sage is just a little bit too quick. It's a nice flick towards top. They now know, even though that they didn't get a quick scan, Neon Stun will push them off for the meantime. They should be able to check this corner. Unless for a second time they're not able to. Sees the Sage. The Sage is going to get the one. Now it's all up to the two players of A short now. King, Wizard, and Sonata. After a really nice pick from Mystic, Rack unfortunately gets picked out as well. A little bit of an awkward pick or swing there from the Neon. But a nice kill nonetheless from Sonata. Double swing comes through. They do see two members, and now it's all up to King Wizard. Once again in a clutch situation, but this time around is not going to find himself on the winning side. So now we're all tied up 3-3. And Haven's you can pretty much argue whether or not it's attacker or defender sided. It really depends on the team comp more than less. I guess more often than not, when you have a three-site map, it's more likely a attacker favored map.
Even fight? That's fun.
Doesn't look like it's going to be so this time around, as things are fairly even between both rosters. Looks like a fast B exec will be happening as Rack gonna enter things off with the Stinger in hand. Doesn't find anybody on the left side of sight, but he does know that two people are on the right side of him. He's gonna play around this cage that he has. He's able to pick up one, but as the dust settles and the smoke clears, although that it was a fast hit, and unfortunately was not enough to take down NMSU. Now they're starting to snowball a couple rounds in a row. I believe that is their third. As UAA was catching them off guard in the earlier rounds, but it looks like that NMSU have kind of have gotten their affairs in order and figured the attacking side out. So back on a save round, UAA have to try to find any sort of answers here. Jet Dash is going to come through, and that's going to be Mystic top side. That unfortunately falls. Body blocking comes through between the two members, but ultimately Rack falls, but Sonata going to be able to take it out for the meantime, leaving King Wizard looking for a pick before he's probably going to fall now, unfortunately. Rez comes through from Sage as the Clove falls. Now it's all up to Phoenix now. Gets the 110 on the Sage, but not going to finish up the kill. A little bit of an awkward hit there as kind of gets shut down fairly quickly. It's not like the Cypher's playing in a different spot, per se. It's moreover just our lack of utility for being able to take him out. Omen, when you go double controller, and especially if one of them isn't Viper, you really kind of lack, or Brim, you kind of lack those mollies and those extra pieces of utility there to kind of help out with you, with your team. Unfortunately, that's going to be a quick 3 picks from this Sova. He's been holding down A long every single time. And then that's the unfortunate thing. I mean, NMSU, it's not like they've been changing anything. I mean, they've been doing the exact same stuff for the past couple of rounds now. And although Sonata had enough with the Vandal and went for the Odin play, it ultimately didn't pan out in his favor. So now 3-6 scoreline. As in terms of the leaderboard, it's going to be King Wizard making a staple, sitting at the top with 7-7-3. Mystic and Sonata slowly behind with 6-7, or 6-7, and a 6-8 scoreline. But Lenozen has definitely been the key fragger for NMSU. But in terms of what we were talking about earlier when it comes to whether or not this is attacker or defender sided, I think definitely looking at the fact that they have 2 Sentinels definitely makes a difference. Cypher will get shot by Sonata as we get a nice first pick and a nice duel that wins, but a 1-for-1 trade comes through as Phoenix will fall. That is the Sova down, and as we talked about earlier, I mean, NMSU hasn't been changing anything. Everything has been quite literally the exact same. You have 1 person sitting on B, you got 2 on A, which is always Sage and Sova, and then you got the Cypher and Neon lurking between C Link. So it's nothing new that our team hasn't seen yet. It's just whether or not they come up with the correct solutions to solve that problem. 4v2 now, though. They do lack the weaponry to try to combat against these enemy players, but now it's all going to be up to Lenoz and the top fragger as they do take down 1. Shock Dart comes out. It's not going to land in time, but as the time ticks down, Mystic's able to reclaim a rifle and take down Lenozen. So stopping the bleeding. UAA was getting a little bit scary there, but now they can at least take a breath, gather their thoughts, and make sure that they move on to these last 2 rounds with confidence. Ultimately going right back to that B hit, knowing that they've put a lot of pressure on the map. That's the beauty about Haven, is that you can really just toy around with a lot of parts of the map and not really show exactly what kind of hit you're going for. The Cypher cage over here on A short, run A main is extremely strong for that. Once again, though, it looks like it's going to be a fast A hit. And UA unfortunately has not been able to do a successful A hit in this entire match so far on the attacking side. Sova Dart comes through. It's not going to scan anything. It does scan the Sage backside, but no trades are going to be able to be found from the duo of Phoenix and King Wizard. So now it's a 3v5, and that Sova's just going to back up, get healed, and we're right back at square one. Mystic's going to get peppered up, unfortunately. Has the dash available. Is going to go for the swing. Dodges the op shot, but not able to claim the kill. They do have Spike, however, so they could definitely wrap out of here. But it's going to be Rack or Sonata to try to just claim another pick. It's going to be the Sova. Now it's just up to this dynamic duo of Rack and Mystic. We've seen so many hero plays from both of these players throughout the time, but it looks like the juice might run out as the time is going to tick down. Rack will fall, and that's a flawless round for NMSU to strike back after UAA was starting to get a foothold. But now, as we go to the last round of this half, UAA still have a very possible job at winning this. I mean, if they get this round here, then 5-7 going into the half is extremely winnable, especially on defense. The one thing I'm just a little confused about is when it comes to the double controller picks, it hasn't really seemed like they've been really using it. It really only seems like one of the members has been picking up on the two smokes, but Sonata unfortunately will bite the bullet, so that's the first pick down. Definitely not what you want to see, as that is our initiator. But it looks like they might be reading the fact that this Sage is flanking, but Phoenix unfortunately not going to be able to win the gunfight. And all of a sudden we find Rack and Mystic back again in the same situation, a little bit better if you want to look at the bright side. But as the neural theft comes through, positions are located. And Mystic is definitely not shying away from a gunfight. Spike in hand and Spike reclaimed. But it allowed NMSU to take some space, and Rack unfortunately did not see the Sova sitting under window. So all up to Mystic here, and it is a crazy Cypher Wire setup that ultimately gets anybody. The swing comes through. He's able to get a nice shot, so it does disable the Cypher Wires. But the Neon ult will come through and do its best to zap Mystic from behind, and that's going to be a 4-8 half on map 1 of Haven. Haven has definitely been a little bit of a scarier map for us, so definitely taking it with a grain of salt, but going toe-to-toe with this team for a best of 3 would definitely be a little interesting. But this is pretty much going with the growing pains of the squad as a whole, as especially with not having a pivotal player as Boats. Even though the King Wizard is definitely showing up for the team, the difference in team comps is definitely apparent, as usually going double con for our team is definitely not what you're used to seeing. Mystic unfortunately is just not going to be able to hit the shots. The Neon is just dancing around a little too much, leaving Phoenix all alone on site. He's going to see the Sova sneak up, but doesn't get the kill. And although Rack's able to claim the one, is not able to claim the next, and now it's all up to Sonata now. Gets one, not able to get the next. Last one, King Wizard, and he will fall, unfortunately. And NMSU starts strong on the attacking side of Haven. Here things go now. Trying to keep it up. We got to keep the energy up so that our team is able to get this third place. If you are unaware of how things go in the competition space for NECC, which is the National Esports Collegiate Conference that we participate in, each semester, at the end of each semester, so it would be in May at the end of the spring semester, there is a final cumulative tournament known as Nationals. And to qualify for Nationals, where the big bucks are made, it's all up to the standings of the previous 2 semesters. So semester 1 and semester 2, fall and spring. And getting third place would mean an incredible amount of points for our teams, whereas 4th place still leaves the door open for us not qualifying for Nationals. Finally, the swing is going to come through from King Wizard, but with the lack of weaponry and the free gun, although he gets the head tap, nice shots all around, but it's going to be NMSU to reach double digits first.
Listen up. Kill them before they kill us.
a little bit of struggle trying to find their footing on this defensive side. I mean, NMSU is definitely just looking to run it down for the most part. Mystic not really going to be able to hit those shots, and Phoenix loses the battle A short as well. And although this is supposed to be their buy round, it doesn't look like Mystic had enough credits to buy any sort of Vandals, so it's going to be forced to move up. Does get the Neon, sees the Omen gets scanned, and that's a 2-shot for 2-kill trade. And although Sonata's sitting here lying in the smoke, passes the Sage that was right behind him, but he's going to get spotted now. Leno's in a 1v3. Looking for UAA to claim their first round. Smoke clears, and that's going to be a nice pick from Renata, or Rack rather. And hopefully UAA start right here to start clawing back this lead. It's definitely winnable. We've seen UAA beat this team before. So it's extremely doable.
Track them down.
Continuing further now, it's going to be Sonata back on that Odin. Sniper Cam goes through, spots out the Jet. So Mystic is made aware of his positioning, but still trying to take out this Sage nonetheless. NMSU is down quite a bit of utility and just weaponry as a whole, as they just cannot chow the unloading Gatling gun that Sonata is holstering on this C site. Unfortunately, King Wizard loses a crucial gunfight in towards mid, but his team is there for the support. Paranoia will come through, and Mystic's able to claim the first kill, forcing them back. They're going to be hiding in the Cypher cage before the swing comes through, and it's going to be the first pick. Sage wins that gunfight. Ultimately still winning in numbers advantage, however. They're going to go for the wall up, as it's still a 3v2. Mystic trying to win the site's gunfights, but he's going to have to get through this wall first. Sovadrone comes through, and he just gets caught out with it. Can't be droning in front of a smoke. And now the numbers advantage has absolutely turned head on towards UAA, leaving Mystic all alone with a Marshall in hand. They know he's a link. He does have a smoke to utilize. He's going to get the first shot on towards the Sage. Goes in, gets a Blade Storm right click. What a 1v2 from Mystic. The MVP to keep things alive. And a great shot and a greater clutch. These are the rounds that the team needs to keep them alive. And that is a huge sigh of relief. I could hear it from here all the way in the casting room. All that stress taken off of UA's shoulders. When the round and game looked bleak, it was Mystic to step up and make the plays. So great stuff from our Jet. Now let's see if they're able to snowball this. NMSU looking fairly strong in terms of their economy. They do have assault rifles this time around, but one of them having a Bulldog and a regenerative shield alongside the light shield. But still, nonetheless, they're going to have to try and break through this defense that UA has been holding. Couple line up there. Mystic not going to be able to land any shots necessary, but they will fall back. And this has been the first time that NMSU has attacked this A site when it gets to a 5v5 standpoint. They have been at least getting those first few picks needed. Cypher Cage comes through, and Mystic just misreads the timing. Cypher was just lying and waiting there, dancing in the orb. The Sage will get the res. King Wizard going to fall, but the Cypher gets traded out, so no Neural Theft will be utilized, and I don't think UAA have read this quick enough that the spike will be going down on C-Site. Huge pick needed from Sonata there, but he's not going to find it. Rack is already lying and waiting, though, sitting here. Could dodge this slow, but the wall is going to come through, and that pretty much denies any sort of chance that they had at getting a garage split. So the play now is to work through CT. Omen's holding that Paranoia, so they have to be extremely careful. Rack not able to win the gunfight, and as the smoke comes out, UA unfortunately not able to chain the rounds needed. And they're extremely broke going into this round, but a couple of them might be able to buy So let's see how things pan out. Still not match point yet. As if you're new to Valorant, everything goes to 13. So here we go. Silver Dart's going to come through. That alerts NMSU knowing that there's multiple members here. But Rack just unfortunately has not been having a strong game with his 1v1 duels. It's been extremely unlucky. And great teamwork there, ultimately, from Mystic to make the swing. But he also had the coverage coming in. But ultimately, it's going to be the Hunter's Fury that's going to be taking out Mystic. Guardian reclaimed, but NMSU doesn't look like they're showing any signs of slowing down this A hit. But now they're going to tuck tail, turn around, and just go straight back to C. Doesn't look like UAA have read this, and hopefully they don't invest too much into this. But that's going to be a silver drone and a clove smoke before they even know what's going on.
I know exactly where.
Neural Theft comes through. It looks like that was on towards the body of Rack. So it looked like he tried to go for a C flank, but just didn't find it. Nice shot from Sonata to even out the numbers. So could have been a throw from NMSU ultimately. Silva takes a couple of Peppers shots. As now King Wizard trying to inch his way up. That's going to be the Cypher Wire taken out. So now things are looking fairly good for us. That's a first pick down to enter site, and now waiting for the garage swing that comes through. Sees the Cypher sitting in here, but now it's going to be a 1v1. All up to King Wizard. He sees the Cypher go through, takes the sidestep, but he sees him still, and King Wizard once again, he's just too icy. Able to claim the round and to stop NMSU from reaching match point. Great stuff, and a great retake ultimately in a 3v5 scenario, or 3v4 rather. Keeping things handled extremely well. But I would love to see UAA just kind of dial things back a little bit. They've been taking a lot of risks. And despite the scoreline being 7-11, it looks extremely dire straits for them. But when in reality, it's really up to just like these slow minimal rounds. You know, not those crazy 2v3 clutches that we've been seeing, but more rather, just those simple default rounds that you're winning. You're just staying on site, not really over-rotating, not really doing anything. Kind of just allow the attackers to come to you. UA have been kind of letting NMSU walk into them. It's been extremely difficult for them to do anything with it. And just like I said, right then and there, you know, UA not taking any aggressive point. Phoenix did a great job of just letting them walk straight into their iron sight. And that's pretty much what NMSU is going to do. I mean, when you snowball a couple of these rounds, they're going to get desperate. They're going to act like, wait, we have to try to make the play, because of course they're on the attacking side. Now Rack lying and waiting in this corner with the judge. I mean, I'm all in support of it. Obviously doesn't have enough economy to do anything else with it. But now he's going to be sitting here just lying and waiting, not giving up his position. That's going to be first 2 kills, trying to get the third, not going to be able to find it. But the shots from the backside, it's going to be the Clovolt that does get popped. Will activate it, does get double killed though. And now it's a 1v1 up to Phoenix against Lenozen. Another 1v1. Not letting anything happen. The fake spike plank goes through, but he doesn't win it. Oh, that would have been extremely close. Super close 1v1 from Phoenix there, but unfortunately will lose it out. 8-11 would have been so clutch. But unfortunately, NMSU find themselves on match points. That's a clincher for sure. That's a clincher for sure. There's going to be a little bit of a side swap here, as looks like Rack will look to change his setup a tad bit. Is going to get scanned by that arrow, as he wisely pulls back the Cypher Wires, as he's trying to play around with the shock darts to make sure that They do not destroy his wires, but as the next 2 shock darts do go out, he reclaims his wires. So nice juggling coming out from Rack to keep his wires alive. And that's going to be all the Soviet util utilized. Drone, dart, shock darts. Really doesn't really have much of anything left. Especially with UAA having barely any weaponry. They're going to have to try to fight this out. Omen TP will come through, but he dies in the midst of the teleport. And that opens up B site for the taking. But with the neon wall that goes out, I don't think King Wizard hears any gunfire. Or any footsteps, rather. And this push is going to be leaning towards this A site. As, honestly, NMSU is just taking every single angle possible. All that's left up is to Sonata in a 1v4. And he does get 2. They do know that a Cypher's lurking, so all he has to do is worry about the 2 that are on site. But the timing is definitely not looking into his favor. Has to break the wall now. Goes for the drone. Gonna see the Sage on towards backside. Knows that Omen's hell now with that paranoia, but catches terrible timing. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be map number 1. NMSU taking on Haven. And we're gonna have to see for map number 2 to keep their hopes alive on Bind. We'll see you soon. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the broadcast. We got our Valorant team once again finding themselves in a little bit of a pickle. As to win this series, they're going to have to take it to map number 3. But it all starts now. Excuse me, we're having a watch party outside, actually. If you guys are anywhere near the Student Union and you definitely want to pop out, we definitely have some pizza, which is why I'm trying to catch my breath at the moment, because I was just eating some pizza and then the players said they're ready. So, unfortunately, I was a little bit late on that. Sorry about that, but it's some great pizza if you definitely guys want to come check it out. And it looks like a lot of them are having a lot of fun out there watching our Valorant team play. So now, going to this map in particular, it's going to be Bind. Rack going to be taking on off that Sentinel role, as he definitely just looked uncomfortable on it. But he's going to be on Raze now, followed up with Phoenix on the Deadlock, Sky of Sonata, Clove of King Wizard, and Mystic on Phoenix. Still sticking to that duelist role. Whereas the opposite side, Lunozen still on that Sage, Keanu on the Cypher, and Mikkel, Mads, and Architect still once again on different characters, but the same role nonetheless. So now let's get into the game, ladies and gents, and see how things pan out. It's UAA starting on the attacking side, NMSU starting on the defensive side. This is UAA's map pick, down 0-1 in the series, and it's a must-win, ladies and gents. Show your support for our Seawolves as they look to reclaim their third-place podium spot. Let's get things started. Fade Eye is going to come through fairly quick on towards the A short side of things, but Rack's going to be able to follow up along the Skybird. It does jump over the Cypher Wire, however. They're able to clear it, and flashes come through. Unfortunately, it's going to be Mystic that will fall. Rack, nonetheless, still trying to find picks needed, but still NMSU finding themselves on the positive end of the body count. 2v5 now. It's all to Phoenix and Wizard. Trying to at least take a couple down with them. But now King Wizard all alone. Able to get the first pick. Sees a shoulder of the brim. Gets a tag. Knows that his flank's coming through. Nice head tap onto Raze. But unfortunately will be losing the round nonetheless. So now NMSU winning that side. This map is definitely a more defender-sided map, so don't be too scared if UAA find themselves in a little bit of a hole before they swap sides. This being UAA's map pick, NMSU did choose to start on the defensive side first, so makes things a little bit difficult. But when a comp like UAA, I mean, when you have this double duelist of Raze and Phoenix, they definitely blow the door wide open and make some really aggressive plays. As now they're trying to clear this A short side of things. Bucky will come through, and unfortunately the trade won't. And that's a 1-for-1. They were able to take out Keanu, so that's the Cypher down. And it actually forced NMSU to kind of rotate off this site. So although Rack has fallen, they still do have the ability of taking this site. Sage Wall does fall, and NMSU doesn't look like they're going to be moving. So in a 2v4 scenario, ultimately, they make that a 2v3 on this site. Things could be a little precarious if they're not able to swing this Raze. It's going to Flash that comes through. Flashes himself, but Mystic's still going to try to get this pick, but the Raze gets the snipe with the Bucky. And all of a sudden, it's Sonata all alone on this guy, able to get one. Shoots the eye, but he's getting flanked by the Raze. And takes the shots from the Bucky, making it to 2-0. And it's a little bit dangerous now because I believe Lunozen might just buy up and take a rifle as, yep, there it comes. So because of the fact that they didn't buy up much last round, it actually gives them the opportunity to utilize that Vandal. So now slowly inching up. They're going to have to be extremely careful of this Raze lying and waiting in the smoke. Mystic with that Guardian is going to wisely molly out the Raze. Goes in for a flash, but sees the Bucky close in the smoke. Has to call it out. They do back away for the meantime, but the Brim smoke does come right back. But UAA is still fighting through. Has to see that the Fade is still sitting there. They get the pick there. And a bunch of kills still lying in favor of UAA so far as Lenozen find themselves the last one remaining. Rax going to make the swing towards spawn. Lenozen the only one with an AR, so regardless of them buying up, them getting the kills here could seriously put a dent into the economy of UAA. Slowly lying and waiting. They know that her only positioning has to be from short. Mystic hiding his head from the opposer. And it's going to be a great round nonetheless. Only losing one, which was Rack. And Lenozen buying up now actually cracks the pockets of NMSU quite a bit. So UAA, if they play this correctly, they could definitely find themselves up 2 and make it 0-0. So let's see ultimately how things pan out now. As Bind has been an extremely strong map for us in the past. In the long past, though, a very long time ago, we actually held what felt like a world record for longest overtime ever. So hopefully we don't have to recreate that this time around. As Mystic, unfortunately, will be the one to fall. Gets shot through the smoke, so incredibly unlucky. So now they're going to have to follow up with the utility that they have to try to break through this, but just one by one, little by little, UA is kind of just feeding them kills. NMSU kind of have a read that they're going to be pushing here. Brimsmoke comes through as he's most likely sitting in towards U-Haul. As the swings finally come through, Deadlock will win the one. So it's still a 3v2 on site. Elbow will be blocked off. Nice shot coming in from Phoenix, taking the site for himself. And he's still finding more. Looking for one more for the ace, and he's going to use the ultimate, and that's going to be the ace for Phoenix. Cleaning up house on towards NMSU as he watches the cocoon go through. And that's an ace for Phoenix. Saving the round for UAA and stopping the bleeding. Great stuff in a round that looked incredibly bleak. Phoenix had a really rough game in map number 1. You can see that he just didn't really look comfortable on that Omen pick. And ultimately on Haven was just kind of losing his footing, losing his ground. But, I mean, when the team needs him most, I mean, he really showed up there. So it's incredibly impressive. And what he was able to accomplish. Dog's going to come through, clearing out Hookah. As the Sheriff sound rains out, they should know now that this site is practically covered in Sheriffs. Very weak weaponry. Although the one-taps could be a little precarious, the TBs are going to come through as Mystic makes the call. All they have to do is just clear shower, make sure it's clear, and they do so. So now Mystic has already made his way up all the way towards U-Haul. They know that backside is the only thing that's left. And he's going to win that gunfight. Huge first duel that comes through. Now they fight through the Brim Molly. Going to be a little bit careful now as King Phoenix has just been absolutely shooting through these walls. Nice clean up to clean up those Cypher wires, but they still Although having the man advantage, have to be a little bit careful now, as Rack will fall. Smokes have gone away. The last two remaining members will be CT and Heaven. All they have to really do now is make sure that they don't fall or give them free picks. Still waiting to see who's going to make the first swing, but that's going to be both of our duelists down. All of a sudden, if they're able to reclaim one of these assault rifles, this could be extremely scary for these players. But as the double swing comes through, and all of a sudden it's a 1v1, Clovo will have to be utilized. And even if NMSU lose this round, they got a lot more than they came for. And, you know, UAA, you win the round, but that's pretty much the extent of the pros that came from it. If you're unfamiliar, what I'm talking about is there's a kind of give you a Valorant tutorial, a Valorant documentary per se, in terms of a lesson. I won't be like a professor per se giving a lecture, but in terms of Valorant terminology, there's rounds called buy rounds, save rounds, and bonus rounds. Bonus rounds or buy rounds is when a team buys up towards their weaponry in terms of assault rifles. A save round is when they don't want to spend too much money, so they'll be utilizing any sort of pistols, etc., secondary weaponry. And a bonus round is when you have excess amount of weaponry and you kind of just take it into the next round without having to buy new weapons. We'll go more further into the lecture as we reach the latter half of this round. It's going to be the showstopper from Rack that comes through, but they already cleared up sight. The house has been taken, and the cards have fallen for NMSU. UA have this site. Nice for the taking, but the fight on elbow is going to be extremely pivotal here as King Wizard has to win this duel against Faye, but he loses it, but it doesn't matter because it's a 4v1. Last one remaining will be Mickle, and all I have to do is clean up this remaining player, and they're going to do just that. Beautiful stuff from UAA. And they do a great job so far, but back to the lecture. If you guys want to take your notes, you know, we'll have a pop quiz on it towards the end of the stream. But as I touched upon, the last thing I said was a bonus round. And when it comes to UAA winning that round, it was a buy round versus a save round. So practically, NMSU on paper is already supposed to lose that round. So anything more that UAA invests into that round, per se ults, any bits of utility, more economy when it comes to having to buy new weapons in the last round, even though that you lost the round as NMSU, it's practically a pseudo win. But it didn't matter because UA absolutely clapped back in the next round, and they're looking to do just that following this round number 7. Sonata going to be burning quite a bit, and this is a ton of utility utilized from NMSU to kind of hold the line here. But it looks like Mystic has read this flank coming through. He's going to see the Phoenix, or see this Bucky come through, but he still wins it. Extremely scary swing there. And especially as observers, we can kind of see the fact that they have outlines and see what guns they have, but our players still just doing great checks. Huge shots from Mystic there. As a slow round started off, but now it's going to be quick and easy for the Faye, but they're going to have to clean up this Quill as quick as possible, and all of a sudden it's all up to Wizard, or Phoenix rather, and Sonata to hurry up and regroup with each other. Phoenix lying in waiting here towards site. It doesn't seem that these members know on NMSU, as they're going to be quite surprised as the backstab comes in from UAA, and they find themselves up 5-2. Here things go now. As once again, UAA leaning more towards this A side, but we'll have to see if it's a full commit or not. Phoenix Wall comes through to attempt to destroy any Cypher wires, but it's going to be Rack to try to double satchel towards back site. Not going to find anything, but it's a 1-for-2 trade. And UAA find themselves on the back foot. Molly comes through, and he's not able to plant it now. Sonata going to have to be extremely careful here as noise was made towards U-Haul. And as the Neural Theft pops, he's going to have to plant this spike and completely run and tuck tail. But as he gets stuck by the fade, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. So now UAA only up 2 rounds, but still nonetheless a great lead that hopefully they can start getting back. They do have a ton of economy to go off of, so as long as they buy each other, everything will be a-okay. In terms of ultimates, looking down, Mads does have the Orbital Strike. Phoenix once again has the Cocoon at the ready, and Mystic has the run it back. So they might be going off of a Phoenix play here, but they have to be extremely careful with where they place this Phoenix ult, because if the Brim of Mads times it correctly, this could be an Orbital Strike. And I mean, you kind of see him or Mads holding it. They're definitely looking to place that down, but now as the kind of time runs out, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So Mystic at least reclaims himself in a decent spot, but not really much info was gathered. As you see right there, he probably made the call that site was clear, but ultimately it really wasn't, as they now feed into a crossfire of Sage and Brim, making things extremely difficult for themselves to enter onto site now, as Sage has showered all walled off, and they're just taking picks 1-to-1. And the team play from UAA has kind of crumbled now. That's not a last one left. Just going to have to take a couple down with him and maybe get a couple of orbs left to his name. But as he looks away, he's able to get the first, and this Raze is probably sneaking up behind him looking for a knife. As just waiting for the shot. I don't know what the Raze is doing. Feeding the kills. I mean, what? I don't know what Architect is doing there. Those are 2 free orbs from Sonata, and Sonata all of a sudden has his ultimate. So, I mean, it's 5-4. You're only up 0-1 in the series. And you just gave them a free ultimate instead of Sonata having to go searching around for an orb or for a kill. I mean, they can just insta-pop ult and execute onto a site, and I feel that's pretty much what's going to happen here as they're leaning towards this B site. Especially with the low weaponry. Looks like that Phoenix and Sonata are going to be the weapon carriers for this round. As the Boombot goes through, questioning which util to utilize, looking for that Cyber Cage to fall before dogging in. He doesn't jump in time, however. And unfortunately, he's not going to miss the Cypher. Beautiful shots from Rack to take that first kill and reclaim a rifle. So now he's going to enter on towards site. Skyol following it up with it. And this is what we talked about rather last time. Deadlock gets a huge nade from Phoenix there to stick the fade in place. It's going to be a beautiful sight for UAA, but the Orbital Strike comes through. Spike, however, was planted, and they're able to get away scot-free and win the duel on elbow. 2v4 now. Trying to keep their hopes alive and extend their lead even further, but NMSU still looking to try to tie it up, but it's all going to be up to Lenozen. Gets the res off, and oh my god, wait, Mystic was not able to get the kill, and now it's a 2v1. Still extremely winnable. But it's all up to Brim. A 1v1 now. A round that was not supposed to be anywhere near this close. King Wizard clutches a crucial 1v1 there, as that definitely could have been the momentum swinger. Up 6-4 now, finding themselves in the lead for the first time, but not going to be in numbers for this round at least, as Rack will be the first to fall. A little bit of a struggling game, going 6-10, but nonetheless, his entry has been extremely pivotal for this team. But 2-5 now, looking for the trades. King Wizard able to find one, but it's going to need a couple more to even out those numbers. It's all left to, once again, Sonata and King Wizard. And those members from NMSU are chugging their way towards this B site to help for the defense. But it looks like King Wizard and Sonata might just lean towards this A side. They're going to have to slow down a little bit so that they don't make their positions known. But King Wizard's just going to full-on walk, just letting the whole world know where he is. Going to get spotted by the scanner. They don't have U-Haul clear, so they have to be careful. They know that a Cypher is going through, and they have to be careful of U-Haul here. Nade comes through. That's going to push him off, but now all up to King Wizard, and was a pretty improbable 2v4, and unfortunately they're not going to make it up to standard. So last round, 6-5. Definitely looking to take the lead here, or even breaking even. I mean, at this point, like we talked about, Bind is an extremely defender-sided map, and they're already up 6 on the attack. So, you know, whether or not they lose this round or they win it, I think both scenarios, UAA will be extremely positive going into that defender side. Huge couple of picks. And that's going to be the deadlock ult that goes off, but all that's left is Lenozen. And he's going to be hit by it, although getting the fadeaway kill. They're all going to watch Lenozen go straight into the cocoon. And that's a beautiful round to end off the half from UAA. And a lot of great entry kills, specifically from Phoenix and Rack there, winning the duels on the Sheriff battles. And now they find themselves on the defender side, up 2 rounds. And this is a great look so far for map number 2 of UAA.
Spike planted. Got one. Woo! Grenade.
All of a sudden, it's a 2v2. And all of a sudden, it's a 2v1, 1v1 now. And he has to get the defuse, but Rack loses it. Almost a crazy 2v5 from Rack and Mystic. But unfortunately, they're not going to be able to win it. Now, NMSU winning that first round kind of puts UAA on the back foot now, as they're pretty much set to lose this round. That's pretty much how things go when it comes to saving. Unless they went for a force. But ultimately, let's see how things pan out. Now let's see how things are starting to taper off here, as Rack will find himself in a crucial 1v1. Doesn't even get a right click off, so he will fall. A site's pretty much opened up, but the push is going towards B, and Sonata doesn't even know this just yet. All he saw was the fade, but now he gets sort of inkling that push is going to be going towards this B site, the one that he's on, but he's going to have to duel against a Cypher with a Phantom, but he actually wins the duel. Sage gets stunned, and he could have gotten a couple of good shots off there, but it's not going to happen. Phoenix Flash comes through, and he does hear the fade running away. And although they got one, this could definitely be a little bit winnable for them if they're able to reclaim one of the guns. Unfortunately, the Sage will not die, leaving Phoenix all alone. And we've seen him get an ace in the previous round, but it's the Bind Massacre as 3 of them just unload their clips, leaving Phoenix defenseless practically, with just a classic in his hand. That was quite brutal. As watching that, I wouldn't be surprised if our stream just got hit with one of those disclaimer checkboxes that our viewers might have to hit. Mystic once again going to be lying in waiting in U-Haul with a Bucky. Doesn't look like they know exactly where he is or what gun he has in hand, but it'll definitely be a rude awakening once he gets the first kill. Flash comes through, not going to find anything, and he won't follow up with it either. As that fade luckily gets away. Bucky shot comes through, but the right-click Bucky is definitely not what he used to be. He's going to get chased down. Raze goes in for the swing. Nice hit from Mystic. And that's going to be a flawless round from UAA, winning their bye round and reclaiming the lead. Great stuff as we find ourselves at 8-7. So let's see how things continue now going into this round. Because ultimately, NMSU have not been shy when it comes to hiding what site they're going to. Let's see if things change. Phoenix going to throw a very nice wall to stop NMSU in their tracks towards elbow side, but it's going to be up to King Wizard to shut down that Cypher that jumps through. Burn Molly does come through as well, so it's a 4v4. Stick as well is going to render him deaf, so he won't be able to hear anything going on, but it's going to be the TPs that come through. But Sonata was lying and waiting. He knows what's going on. He's playing spoiler. He did a great job not over-rotating NMSU, trying to take advantage of what UA honestly had problems with in the past, with over-rotating, not playing to their guns. But now it's going to be the wallbangs that try to come through. The Sage wall actually blocks it. Molly's as well trying to stick, but it's going to be the spike that ultimately falls. 2v3 now. Make that 2v2 as the numbers equalize. And now Phoenix goes in for the swing as the bait comes through. Clove in a 1v1. It's all up to King Wizard. He's been so good in the clutch, and the ice is still in his veins. Just a fantastic play. Trying to fill in the shoes of Boats is not an easy task at all. But King Wizard is doing just that. Taking over for his sick teammate. We know Boats is watching in spirit and is still in the lobby. It's going to be the running back that comes through from Mystic. He misses 3 players long. And will ultimately miss every player but Sonata, as the 2 player and the 2 teammates high-five each other. And although the stun comes through, Phoenix won't be able to find the kills needed. Double flash as well. That's able to secure Mystic a kill, as well as the nade as well from Rack. As the TP comes through, but Sage, the only thing that's going to make it through the TP is the dead body and the spike. So now all that's left is Architect lying and waiting on a short, trying to make it up to Pillar, but with no weapon in hand. Only the Sheriff. This is pretty much a done and dusted round. And a great defensive half so far for UAA, as map number 3 will be split. And it is a little unfortunate. NMSU did choose the defense side of split.
30 seconds left.
But UAA is no slouch when it comes to that defensive side. And a beautiful, flawless round, ladies and gentlemen, puts us up at 10-7. We find double digits first. If you're just now joining in, as I see a couple of new faces hitting the chat, NMSU unfortunately took map number 1 of Bind, or of Haven actually, 13-7. But this is just map 2, so UAA have to clap back here. So let's see exactly how they're going to be able to do that. Fade comes through, and it looks like it's going to be an A exec. As King Wizard and Mystic and Sonata are definitely going to be met with a ton of reinforcement here. Nightmare's going to go through. That's going to allow them to enter on towards the site, but the spike will be fallen. And also, 2 more members of UAA make that a third, and all that's left is King Wizard trying to defend for his life in U-Haul, but he's not going to be able to do so. Phoenix left in a 1v4.
Planted.
He's not going to find anything after that. Great round from NMSU. I mean, they utilized a couple of ults there with the Nightmare. And they still have some to go off of it with the Neural Theft and mainly the Showstopper to kind of enter on towards a site.
Listening.
But NMSU, I mean, we've seen it before. The rounds that they tried to do these rotating plays hasn't worked. They haven't really
Sound sensor out.
found much success either with the running it down, but that's the first round that they've been cleanly able to take a site, and it was all in the back of the Nightmare that hit multiple of the UAA members. Rat getting extremely precarious with his utility. Gonna have to use the Showstopper to get them out, and unfortunately he's going to have to waste that ult, as he had no clue that there was going to be 3 members there. Mystic winning a crucial duel there. Very nice shots from him, and that's going to enact the Sky ult to come through. They know that Cypher's playing long, but as the Sky ult and the Cabbages kind of go towards the B side, or the A side rather, they kind of know that things are going towards A. And pushing towards this A main is to reclaim the Fallen Brethren. So now we're back to a 5v5. Showstopper will come through from NMSU, but we have the running back to come through, and that's going to be the Sage Fallen. That's going to be the Raze trying to look for the kill. He's able to get the kill as well, and the Rocket won't find anyone. UAA finding themselves up 2 members, but the spike will be planted. They're going to have to be careful of this cage wire that goes through as well. as now the fade falls, and all I have to do now is look for Mystic, trying to get that ace, as he was able to clean up multiple members. And that's going to be the 5th that falls, however. Now trying to look for this Cypher. They know that he's sitting in U-Haul. Now it's going to be King Wizard to clean up the party.
My ult is ready. Advancing back.
And there goes as well. King Wizard will claim the ultimate. So now let's see how things go out now. As UAA are up 3 rounds, especially on this defense side. It's looking extremely strong for them. Let's see if they're able to continue this success. They're definitely not seeing a ton of members towards this A side, but for some reason they elect to still go A. That should turn their heads and go right back to B. As you can see, the Deadlock of Phoenix is instantly reclaiming the site. Stuns go through. That's going to be the wall. Huge nade comes in from Rack, though, to stall the Sage Wall from being planted. And that ultimately was probably the go-ahead to just rotate back towards site, but if we're looking at the player of Sonata, he's done this time and time again, just sitting in showers, waiting for the pullback to come through. Huge first pick. That's going to be Lenozen down. The Sage has fallen. And now they're looking for more members. As Cypher is sitting on site, Sonata hears this, knows that the plant is going down, but the Raze is sitting in the Brim smoke, so he won't be able to get this free kill here. He's just going to have to sit there lying and waiting. They know that he's Truck, so they have to try to clean up this Raze when that Brim smoke falls. But it's not a Clove. The Brim has fallen. Or the Brim is actually still alive now, so they're going to go for the swing. Brim ultimately wins the fight, and as the Raze peeks out from the shadows, it's going to be all that's left is Rack. Lying and waiting, trying to get the A-Short player, does enact it, but King Wizard doesn't pop ult, interestingly enough. Leaving Rack all alone. It's going to be the nade to finish the job. Beautiful utility usage when he doesn't have to use the gun. It's all about the util. Great round from UAA. Ultimately a little bit of a scary one, even though Sonata made the right play, but 12-8, it's match point, ladies and gents.
Can I get a drop?
One more away now to bring it up towards map number 3. This could be extremely interesting. Is now still fighting for that podium spot of 3rd place and a huge amount of national points. And to end this season off with a bang, UAA trying to find their footing now. Unfortunately, Mystic gets a little bit overzealous. Loses the fights towards Showers, but still extremely winnable. They do have orbital strikes. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful on that front. But as the swings come through, UA is just not winning the gunfights. Architect does fall on the Neural Theft. It will be utilized. Swing from Rack comes through, though, and he wins a crucial one. Huge shots from him, and they're still gunning on all fronts. Keanu and Mac, all the one that's left. Clovolt comes through to keep King Wizard alive. The Phoenix's ult will go wide, though. And all of a sudden, it's 1v2 for Rack to end the map off and to take his team into map number 3. It's all up to the Sova, or the Cypher, rather, in the Brim. Rack catches eyes and catches view of the Brim. Knows exactly where he's standing. Orbital Strike will come through, and he's going to have to satchel out. Ton of damage done. And he uses the sound of the orbital strike to reposition 1v1, sees the brim, trying to run away, has to land the shots, and he does. A little bit scary there for Rag, but UAA will find themselves on map number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We're going all the way to Split. Beautiful 1v2 clutch. And UAA are not done yet in this series, ladies and gents. We'll see you in map number 3 after a short intermission. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to map number 3. It's now time to start Split, and it's now time for the last time. Let's say goodbye to the end of the beginning, ladies and gents. Shout out to Stranger Things. If you know, you know. But this is going to be the final map, regardless of the outcome, that we see this UAA Esports Valorant team, for now at least this this lineup, as the season has now built up to this final moment. All the weeks of practicing, all the maps has all led up to this. There's no more winning, no more losing. It's all up to map number 3, and that's going to be on Split, ladies and gents. It's going to be an incredibly interesting map, as looking at the lineups, looks like NMSU will be sticking to their bread and butter of Architect on Raze, Mikkel and Mads on the Initiator and Controller, respectively. Keanu and Lenozen do the double Senti, whereas Rack and Mystic have ditched the double controller comps, and they will be going strictly for those double duelists on the Raze and the Reyna, followed by the Sage, Sky, and Clove. So let's see how things go, ladies and gents. How do you think this map number 3 is going to play out? Will our UAA team take it all the way and win third place? It's time to find out, ladies and gents. Let's get things on the road. Apologies, trying to look at some of the settings to make sure that I'm not doing this incorrectly. Okay, we should be all good. Wow, is that okay? Architect has some OCD pressing that button over and over again. Just making sure that the boombot is alive. It's going to be the nade that comes through, met along with the Reyna blind, and it's going to enact the heal to come through. Very beautiful take from UAA to ultimately crash on towards this site. And that's going to be B site for the taking. Looking at the minimap here, Sova and Omen are nowhere to be found. Going to have to be forced on this back end, and Split being definitely an attacker favored map, or a defender favored map, as in the past. I mean, we've seen in the VCT Pros almost 12 O's on both sides of the map, so, or on defense in particular. So this backside flank from UAA has to be sped up just a tad bit as the Sage gets taken out on the front side. And now they know that last remaining members will be on this heaven side. Omen falls to his death, and the last remaining member will be Sova. Be taken out from behind, and that's a beautiful start towards map number 3 for UAA. Why is it that you guys want me to sing Bartender by T-Pain? That is a very interesting one to be sung. Let's see how things pan out here. Now with the better weaponry, trying to see if they can take the upper half. Grenade will come through, forcing Reyna to full swing, gets the heal, and is going to see the Omen hell as well towards Vens. And they're absolutely running it down. UAA knows that this map has gone on for a little bit too long, and they just want to end it right here. And they're looking to do just that. They know the Sage is sitting right there. It's going to be waiting on for the heals, but King Wizard, or Phoenix rather, unfortunately gets hit, and the Sage Lenozen, that's the last person that you want to have that Spectre in hand. Takes down 2, gets quickly traded, but those 2 picks definitely could spell the difference going into the bonus round of next round. King Wizard, well aware that a Cypher could definitely be here, and is going to back up for the meantime. Here's the shots raining. Swing comes through, but he's not going to be able to find it. Mystic will find the next one. And although we won, as we touched upon before, That was pretty much a lost round for NMSU regardless. But now going to the third round, a defender side of the map. And they have double Senti as well. I mean, every round that UAA takes is almost worth 2 rounds, if anything. You know, going into a defender side of the map with those 2 Sentis of Cypher and Sage, I mean, it makes things incredibly difficult to even fight up against. And they're just running it down. Huge heals that come through from Sonata as Mystic drives by the Omen. Now they have a little bit of the wherewithal to know that the Raze is lying in waiting here. But it's going to have to be extremely careful because it is the Judge. Does get the first pick. Satchel comes through as well. And although the Judge from range or from close range is able to deal a ton of damage, it's not going to find the same results now. 2v3. This is still extremely winnable. It's going to be all up to Phoenix to see what he finds. Phoenix, though, not going to check behind him. He's going to get the wall up. Walls up the Sage. Gets extremely awkward. But now the Sova's position is well known. And although the heal is going to be enacted, they still have to try to find a war on 2 fronts. Phoenix, what can you do in this position? Has to fight up against the Sova. Takes the duel, but doesn't come out with it. Dum, 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 dum. Shout out to Zed. What a skin. Now attack is going to go on towards the A side of things. Now they're leaning towards this side of B, or of A rather. And unfortunately, despite being blind, the Cypher just shoots right through it. Able to clean up a couple of the members on this side, but ultimately it's going to be the 2 members from Heaven to make a difference. So let's see how things go. Omen only has a Sheriff in hand, so definitely could be an extremely easy kill to take, and that's going to do it. Leaving it to a 2v2 now, and they're not going to get the high-low setup, though, and it's all leaving up to Sonata. And he's unfortunately going to fall, even things up 2-2 now. As we got the Overwatch 2 captain entering the chat, Mr. Etho, Mr. Star Chicken, Mr. Shady Owl, Mr. Cat Caller. Rack's going to try to entry towards top ramp, but unfortunately, the Bucky is not going to do it, as UAA have a very limited amount of credits to utilize, so can be forced to back away. Hunter Fury will be utilized, and it looks like Mystic found a really nice window. Is going to let the Sage pass by, but the Sage randomly looks back. It's like they just felt a presence towards their right side almost and just turned on towards Mystic. Doom, 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 doom. Huge win towards ramp side as Mikkel gets a little bit overzealous, trying to peek out. But now as they enter onto site, no Cypher Wires going to be able to stop them, and Sonata wins a big one. Bringing us up to speed now as the showstopper will be utilized from Rack. Extremely interesting, or it's actually going to be Architect. No, it was Rack. Weird. He just, I guess, in a 5v3 wanted to pop ults. Why not? Whatever's taken to secure the round. But this round is extremely winnable, especially if Architect is able to get a nice double satchel onto site. But that's going to be a lot of the Sova utility utilized, and they didn't really have many people to follow up on any of it. So they're kind of going into this site blind. Sage Wall is blocking them off towards spawn, so makes things really hard for the enemy stage to come through. Skyle will be utilized, but that's going to be the satchel on towards Clove. Gets utilized, and Mystic's going to be forced to try to win a couple of these fights here. Clove will get utilized as well, and that's all up to the Rays. Architect gets taken down, and UAA even things up 3-3. Once again, guys, this is the last match of our Valorant team. Nice grenade from Rack there to throw it into his team. But like I was saying, this is the last match for our Valorant team for the semester. So, you know, a long 9-week season. And it's been extremely exciting to watch our teams play, but unfortunately this will be it. As not just today, but on Wednesday and Thursday as well, we have the Rocket League and League of Legends grand final games. So those ones will also be a spectacle to watch. We'll be having live watch parties out here in the Student Union, as we do have one going on right now. And we'll be having some pizza, we'll have chair setups and everything. So definitely come out and support these two teams. They've been, you know, grinding all season. We've had quite a bit of people come out for the Valorant watch party, so shout out to everyone that came out to watch. Hope you enjoyed the pizza.
With numbers, anything can still happen. Remember that.
But now going in. Sorry, reading the chat, it's kind of funny. Bryson would never do such a thing. Bryson is very extremely respectable and knows when the comedic timing is at the right spot to pop a good etho joke. Everyone loves a good Overwatch joke here and there. But of course, nonetheless, I gotta be nice to etho today. I'm sorry, so I will apologize for that. He's not Mr. Catcaller. He's Mr. Birthday Man. We got the happy birthday for our Overwatch team captain. So, a great birthday to him. Get your birthday presents up, and hopefully our Valorant team could give him a birthday present of winning map number 3, which would be a huge victory. And I think Etho would like that birthday gift a lot, knowing that his Valorant team went to get 3rd place. Neural Theft will come through. The Sage Slow is not going to land, but the shot towards Heaven will. 4v3. Or make that a 4v2 now, as all that's left is this Omen of Mace. Left all alone, or Mads rather. Left all alone. Not really much to do, as they're practically just going to sit and spawn, lying and waiting, and should be a easy round win to even things out. And this map is a defender-sided map, and already taking 4 rounds is a win in itself. Obviously, if they ended at 4-8, that would kind of be a demoralizing 4-round stretch. But if they're able to take at least one more within the next 4, I mean, that's you're definitely holding your heads high going into the next half. Here we go, Skydog going through to try to gather any sort of information possible, but as UAA have kind of stretched the map out, looking for a little bit of a default look. First swings do come through, shots rain, but none hit. As now UAA kind of adjusts towards this middle side of the map. Phoenix is going to be just absolutely running it down here. A little bit of a questionable Sage wall, but the shots aren't. He gets those clean kills. Paranoia comes through, but it doesn't land. And now as the Sage Slow comes through and the smokes clear out, it's going to be a nice B site that they just nicely take for themselves. 5v5 still on the board as Lenozen's the one to fall. Lenozen had a crazy map number 1, which ultimately led to his team winning that map. But now it's all up to Phoenix now. The enemy Sage that's going to have to run away from this Raze, just bobbing and weaving, wasting so much time. Sees the gun of the Raze, but not going to secure the kill. And now UA find themselves in very precarious situations now, as Rack's going to be holding things off from the other side of Garage. Swing comes through as well, and now it's all up to Architect to deal with a high-low situation and a far cross shot set up by UAA, and the swing from King Wizard will end all chances, and they find themselves up in the lead 5-4. Huge first pick that goes in for Rack, as Zebix, our Esports Lounge manager, put it very well that there is Raising Canes being sold in the lounge, and when we told, or down in the den of the student union. So if you're a fan of Raising Canes, which I most definitely am, we're all hoping for UA to win this as quick as possible. TP comes through, but Rack is not going to be tricked by that one. Beautiful shots hit, but they're going to have to dodge Lenozen, and all that's left up is the knife of Sonata and Mystic as well in a 1v2 situation. They know where this Cypher is, but they're going to have to claim this spike and start moving towards the site. Grabs it for himself. Sonata sees that he's Heaven, allowing Mystic to try to dodge away, but he's not going to be able to do so. Now looking to reclaim this Vandal. The Cypher kind of understands what's going on, and it's going to be a 1v2 clutch, unfortunately, to even things out. Keanu extending the lead, or extending the game ever so further, just not allowing UAA to go get those canes. I promise you guys, when we told Sonata that there was going to be canes downstairs, you should have seen his eyes light up, guys. He really wanted that canes, and so do I. So, you know, that's probably why he's firing out right now, going 8-8. But now, looking at Sonata trying to keep his team together through the heals and also bobbing and weaving between the Cypher utilities. Showstopper comes through, and it's going to land on 3 members of UAA. What a crazy ultimate that has landed from Architect there. They just weren't able to land the shots. Doesn't look like Sonata wants that Kane's bad enough, apparently.
Last player standing.
As now they're going to be inching ever so further. Unfortunately, will perish, and that is honestly just a round straight out of Architect's book.
Round before the switch.
As a lot of the Showstopper, the Raze ults coming in from both teams have not been very strong or finding any kills per se. Architect has definitely been the one to fire on all cylinders, so... they will at least get that one. But now it's going to make it a little bit difficult, as this is the last round. Every ultimate will be utilized. It's going to be the Hunter's Fury coming in from Mickey, or Mickle, rather. And it will find King Wizard, unfortunately. I don't think he was able to pop ult, though, unfortunately, so... you know, it was last round, but I guess he's not going to find it. Keanu will fall, though. Or Keanu. And that's going to be the lurk from Rack. So now as the team kind of gathers up, inching towards this B middle side, it's probably going to be a B split. As they actually lean towards this A side, as Mystic and Sonata were kind of holding on towards this middle, but now as they make their way towards A, it's going to be the spike planted, and no one really is anywhere near to kind of contest this. It's really only going to be up to Architect and Mickle. To do any sort of business. Phoenix trying to get the shot there on towards the resurrecting member of NMSU, but all of a sudden the tables have turned. UAA have to fight through this. Rack and Mystic, the double duelists, are having to make a statement, but the spike's not planted for Mystic. He has to be extremely careful here as the wall finally drops. He makes the swing, gets the one, gets the second. Dismiss is out, but the smoke's still down. He has to spray through the smoke to try to get this kill, and now he's trying to fight, but he's not hitting the outline needed, and all of a sudden it's gonna be the defuse from NMSU. Super unlucky from Mystic there. God, that's incredibly close. Here we go. It's going to be UAA finally on the defender side of things. They are down 2 rounds, but I mean 5-7 in the half and of attacker side is definitely what you want to see. Raze nade does come through, but the slow is going to stop them for the time being towards this middle side of the map, and now the fight on all fronts, and they're going to be taken out as 2 members will fall. Architect and Mickle not going to have any follow-up from their teammates, so now they're going to be sprinting all the way towards A. Or towards A rather. So now lying and waiting. Wow, okay. So apparently everyone rotated and they left Mystic all alone. But if anyone's going to be alone, it's going to be Mystic. King Wizard in a duel with the Cypher is able to get out with his life, but Ultimately, it's all up to Mystic. Doesn't have the trigger finger, and he's going to go for the duel. He takes down one before he falls, but that's going to be the spike planted, and now it's all that's remaining is Mads in a 1v4 scenario and gets taken out. UAA will win the first round of defense. And MSU stacking towards this A side. As majority of those members are there, but 2 are mid, so kind of looking at exactly how it sees from a bird eye view. Phoenix is going to have to be extremely careful here, despite having the better weaponry. He has to be extremely careful and to not lose the gunfight, but now he gets ran up upon by the Classic. And that's actually going to turn the eyes of many members from NMS, from UAA, but wow, he actually gets a double kill. Why do we walk up like that? You cannot clear corners with your utility in hand. It's just not going to work for you. And this is not the round that you want all of a sudden. From UAA, with their buy round, the Cypher just cracked the defense wide open. You just have to know, when you get a kill, you have to expect somebody else to make the swing, especially in these types of lobbies. It's not just ranked, where everyone's kind of just taking 1v1 duels nonstop. And unfortunately, despite getting that kill there, it's going to be the knife kill from Architect to win the Thrifty round. So now things are getting a little bit scary now. They're still on the defender side, only down 2 rounds, so they definitely could turn this table, but it's going to take a lot now. I mean, their economy is broken. They're going to need a miracle. They're going to have to play off of their util here. Sky with the Bulldog, Sonata trying to do as much as possible as Rack is kind of inching up towards Seward. Lets his team know that all the space that he's gathered, but he kind of challenges this long angle with the Classic. Lands the head tap, but ultimately, he's going to be forced to back away, allowing Mystic to kind of go through. Gets the first pick and dismisses out, but not completely. Allowing Lenozen to get the kill there, and is going to be the next swing. Why do we keep pulling Util out? King Wizard thinks he gets the kill, but he stops shooting. All up to Phoenix now. Unbeknownst to him, there's 2 members that are sitting. Okay, please don't leave. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. Okay, thank God. I thought he was going to go to B. I was actually going to crash out. Okay, so the site is going to be towards A. Or towards B, rather. Sorry, I keep getting these sites mixed up. And yeah, he has no clue what's going on. But now, with that sound cue, he should know now that they are pushing towards site. He does see one back site. Tries to make the swing, doesn't get the shots, but he knows where the Omen is. Trying to get the kills needed, but just not able to clean him up. Wow, we are actually catching some terrible timing, guys. Holy. Really have to turn something around. As finally now, we are still unable to buy weaponry. Which means that, at most, we might lose this round and take it to 6-10, which is not 6-7. And if it ain't 6-7, it ain't cool. It's honestly just been a really big misread of the map. But luckily, to change things up, is going to be Phoenix. Lying and waiting in sewer now. Looking to go up. Cannot make any noise, but has to hurry up now. The Cypher wire, though, will be extremely precarious, but could at least play spoiler and deny any sort of members. Huge shot from Phoenix there. But they know that he's there lying for the flank. Has to stay a little bit vigilant, though, knowing that they do have Spike in hand. Skybird will be utilized from Sonata to be held there. Now it's a 4v2 all of a sudden. To keep their hopes alive and to bring them to a 7-9 scoreline would be massive. As the swing comes through from Phoenix, gets 2 taps onto Mads.
30 seconds left.
Cypher Cam will spot Sonata. And the weaponry is really all up to Rack now. Sitting, lying, and waiting. They don't have Spike. Rack probably should have swapped weapon here to make it seem like he doesn't have a Vandal. But they know that he's trapped up in this corner. 10 seconds left. They don't have time to go. They have to go for the swings, but they also have to claim the Spike, but it's going to be King Wizard. The hero of this game, the hero of the series, rather, coming in and filling for boats. We've said it time and time again, but he is still continuing to go crazy. A really needed round, a much needed round that we were honestly saving. I mean, that was extremely scary, but a huge flank from Phoenix, a nice shot from Rack and Mystic. Ultimately brings us to 7-9 and stops the bleeding for now. And now allows UAA to go up against NMSU with a very empty pockets, as they only have about 1 rifle to their name, and it's not a Phantom or a Vandal. Swing comes through. It's a huge duel from Sonata. Takes out the Cypher. So now the flanks are wide open, but oh my god, what a shot from Lenozen to take out Sonata. That's the sky down, and that's going to be a res that comes through as well. Shots have to land, but King Wizard not able to land it. And that's going to be the Cypher that gets away. But it's still a 5v4, and that's going to be an ultimate utilized in a save round, so they still could very well do this. UAA is lying and waiting for this hit, but all of a sudden, Phoenix just dies? I honestly have zero clue from where. Phoenix just died. What did he die from? I have zero clue. He just fell. And wow, Clove Orb goes right back towards us. This is just the most unlucky sequence of events. Now, we know that Cypher's hell, so they at least play off of that. Say, Satchel comes through as well. And it's going to be a spot for Mystic that comes through. Gets the double kill on towards the Mystic recall. And now still lying and waiting. Have to deal with the Sova backside. It's going to be a Marshall versus a Vandal. But he goes for the Sheriff. Gets the shot through the board, and these are some ugly rounds, ladies and gents. I mean, I'm bewildered and baffled to what I'm watching right now, but I'm glad that we're winning these rounds by any means necessary. A win is a win. The Raising Canes is gone. That's the worst news I've heard all night. Now if we lose, I'm gonna be extra mad. No, I'm joking. Positive vibes, positive vibes. Eight 9 now, UAA. Finally looking to close the lead. For the majority of this game, they've been down by 2. So it's been super hard for them to kind of claw back this victory. But finally now they find themselves in a 1-point deficit. As Sonata has to live on towards his backside, just flashing the ever-living hell out of the members of Architect. and NMSU as a whole. Swing comes through as well, but Sonata's going to die, but gets traded out. Numbers were an advantage until, unfortunately, Rack falls towards mid-map. Phoenix does have res, so they could go for this, but he has to live this duel up against the Cypher of Keanu. Huge kill there, but they should know that the Cypher is still mid towards mailbox, and he's lurking up, lying in waiting, just sitting here. Mystic might get caught with his pants down. Flick comes through. Huge win, but Phoenix falls, though, so no resurrection will be claimed. Sage just sitting, waiting towards mid-map.
30 seconds left.
And as UAA just fall back towards A, it's going to be Lenozen to just take that space.
No peeking.
And things could get extremely precarious now as the wall on B side goes up. UAA have no clue that this is happening. And now, after the time is starting to tick out, they're going to rush their way towards B side. They have to make it fast. They know that Heaven is walled off, though, so they're going to play it together. So now just lying and waiting to try to get towards this site. Looking at Lenozen's POV. Doesn't know if these members are on site or if they're playing backside or not. Mystic on the overhead peak. It's going to allow King Wizard to activate that ult. And as the flank comes through, Mystic gets caught out with his knife. And Lenozen clutches the 1v2 after the Clove ultimate is not going to be able to be claimed. It's just an unfortunate read. NMSU reached double digits.
What matters?
And UAA are fighting for their lives right now. Going tooth and nail with everything they got. And these rounds are so incredibly close. But UAA find themselves on a save round now. Here we go. Shots are going to be going towards A. Showstopper goes through, but it's not going to hit. Rack just hasn't been able to find the ones needed. Unfortunately, it's going to be a Hunter's Fury and Neural Theft that goes online, but they're going to be trying to clean up Sonata sitting in vents. And this side towards A will be taken, and NMSU are not playing around this time around when it comes to their weaponry advantage, and they're just going to take A with force. All up to UAA now to try to reclaim this site. But it all starts with the fight towards vents or fight towards ramps. Skydog will come through. Doesn't get spotted. That the showstopper is there, and it will be Lenozen and Architect fighting towards that top side. And UA are falling down now. 8-11.
No charges.
This is getting scary, ladies and gents. Bucky in hand for Mystic. Desperately trying to find any pick necessary, but it looks like that he's going to be alone, all alone towards B site, with the closest member being Phoenix in mid. But this site and this attack is definitely looking towards A main. Boombot goes through, is not going to spawn anything, but they definitely try to shoot it, though, so that's unintentional information. Phoenix has to be really careful here to not get a pick. Or to not get picked, rather. As NMSU have started to slow things down now. Last round was extremely fast, but they know that UA love to rotate. But he gets vision. Rack, huge information there. And the Omen is prepping these smokes. But as the Sage Wall falls, it's really going to be up to Phoenix here to catch timing. He cannot lose this duel against Sova, especially with the Resurrection ult in his pocket. But the main push will go on. Cypher's going to take ramp now. And it's all up to Rack to hold the front line, lying and waiting in the smoke now. As Phoenix gets the cross, he's not able to cover the mid. And Sova has now taken vents, forcing UAA to back off a little bit. We still have King Wizard playing towards site. 2 picks going in favor for UAA, though, so that's huge picks, but it's going to be Rack that falls, and the ultimate that goes through, and Rack's not able to find the kill, but it's still a 3v3. Even after the res comes through, Phoenix has to try to find one, And it's all up to King Wizard once again, lying and waiting on site. He's been sitting in elbow, goes in for the swing, gets the spike carrier, and the plant will be going down from Cypher, but it's going to be Mystic to look for this kill. 3v1. Keanu not going to be able to look the correct angle, and UAA finally strike back, sitting at 9-11 scoreline. Finally stopping the bleeding. And a great start so far. Let's see how things continue. This has been an absolute brawl between both of these teams. But it looks like this time around, it's going to be NMSU kind of leaning towards this B side. So let's see how things pan out. Shots are raining through. Sonata's trying to live towards this side of the map, but it's going to be Mystic that ultimately falls back towards site, trying to fight against this Sage wall, so he does not fight towards the back anymore. Sees the Sage lying in wait and gets a couple tags onto Lenozen, and is going to ultimately take this side, but doesn't commit towards the wall. Still just wondering where that Omen is going to be, but now the Sova has reclaimed the site, and it's going to be a huge win, but a 1-for-1 and a 1-for-2 rather, as the spike's going to fall. And on the back end, though, Sonata actually died. So now they have to fight towards site. Phoenix is going to lose one, but now they have to try to find the Cypher that was lurking on the back end. And it's a 2v1, a huge one, rather, to hold NMSU off of match point. They know that Cypher is sitting in heaven, and it's going to be Rack to clean up the kill. Round by round, UAA climb themselves back to a 1-round disadvantage, holding NMSU off of series point. Op shot rains through. It's going to be Mystic, actually, to be carrying the op before the Sage Wall rises up. This is one of those rounds where you're trying to catch NMSU off guard, and he was able to get that pick onto Architect. NMSU, I mean, when the stress is high, but for both teams, actually, and, you know, you're not really thinking about what's going on, what possible plan. You're tunneled too much on, what are they going to bring? What kind of setup are they going to have? What have they been doing the past couple of rounds? And then all of a sudden, bang, you get hit with an op. It's just one of those things, and a great time to pull it out. It actually hasn't been utilized this entire series, other than once back on Haven by Architect. Sagewall will drop, and the shot isn't able to land. A running shot somehow lands for the Cypher. And that's going to be the spike planted on towards A side. Who let this happen? But they're able to get the pick. Cypher did plant the spike quite out in the open now, so it's going to be all up to Mystic to try to get this down. Double shock lineups come through, though. It's going to be all up to Rack to get those kills. Sonata has to hurry up now and get this kill, but it's going to be the Sova to run away. Clove is still trying to search for that pick, but he's not going to be able to. The Sova will get on towards heaven, and Sonata is going to look for the stick. Goes for the swing! Huge kill from Sonata to even things out, 11-11. An extremely scrappy round, and a crazy one at that. I practically blacked out. I had no clue what was happening. I was just casting because, oh my days, UAA have evened us up 11-11, and we have an absolute series on our hands, ladies and gents. Shots are raising out from both ends. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to be on the end of those weaponry. As King Wizard trying to find these long angles to see which team will push themselves towards the first match point. Who will be the first one to reach series point? King Wizard, all you have to do is just shoot down the barrel and see if one hits. Showstopper will come through, but it gets instantly taken out. Sonata there for the trade, though, and a huge win on towards front side, but Phoenix loses it. Cypher will be taken care of, however, and all of a sudden, it's going to be a feeding frenzy for Mystic, having to feed them all towards Mailbox, and he's taken out one by one. With the King's Empress on his head, he carries the backs and the load of UAA. The boats and the logs have all on Mystic's shoulders. And he just does a fantastic job. NMSU wrote their death wish, making the rotate. The IGL says, yo guys, let's rotate to A, but it was rotate to B rather, and it was just an absolute blunder. And UAA are at match and series point for the third place match. Early fights go towards mid-map. But it's going to be Mystic to start things off in Rack. This dynamic duo, and they're looking to end things fast, but they got to be extremely careful now as Mystic's going in, and he's going to get the kill and the dismiss out. 4v3 now, looking to claim this third place championship. Skyo will be utilized as the spike is reclaimed, and it looks like they're going to be leaning towards this A side. The jig is up. No more lurks are in hand. This is all on NMSU's shoulders now. As unfortunately King Wizard loses a crucial gun battle, but it's going to be Phoenix going on towards this flank. The Skyhole is gone. But wow, the Cypher wisely puts down the Cypher cages. Raze will get the first picks. It's Mystic getting the first two. And to end it all, it's Cypher with the free gun and an ace to capitalize the season. UAA get third place. And they win in a crazy 2-1 series. NMSU falls for the third time. And we find ourselves winning this series after a crazy ace from Mystic. GG's all around. And wow, what a great season for our Valorant team. Obviously, they were really wanting to get towards that grand finals match. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, was an absolute banger. But coming out and ending the series on a bang is exactly what you want to do. And I mean, that kind of sums up the entire series. Mystic getting an ace there. What a beautiful game. Thank you guys so much for watching. This season is not over yet for our other teams. Wednesday, show up to the Student Union. Show up with all your support because we have our first grand championship match for Div 7 Rocket League and NECC, where our Rocket League team will be taking on, I believe it's MSU Gold, or a different team. I'm unfamiliar, but definitely come check it out, support our team. And then the next day, right after that, will be League of Legends on Thursday. So please show up and show out with your green and gold, and we'll hope to see you there. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Valorant team. Hope you guys enjoyed this season. This is the first time we've ever hosted a Valorant team, and they did great, amazing things, and they absolutely blew perspectives out of the water. GG's all around.